Let's do a tropical backyard landscape design. So to start things off, this is the backyard that we're working with. I'll flash it up on the screen for you. My clients wanted complete privacy, but also a tropical flair as soon as they entered their backyard space. You can see that they live in a typical suburban neighborhood with not much of a backyard, and they wanted to dream a little bit, like at a vacation spot or a resort. So this is a new community, and they have a house that's gonna be built right on the back side of them, so you can see that's kind of an issue, is it's looking right into their backyard space. So they were really wanting some privacy from that specific location. So the first thing we're gonna do is start with the bigger material, the palms. So we selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 palm materials that we're gonna go with as our foundations. And whenever starting a landscape design, you always wanna start with your foundation palms first and lay the background. I always start with my corners and I work my way in. So I'm gonna go ahead and place my areca right here because these are our main buffers. Now that we have those arecas placed, now it's consistently just placing plants in between and filling each gap. So I love the way these traveler palms look. So we're gonna go ahead and place one there, and place one as the centerpiece as well. I love using them towards the back because they don't take up that much space. Now that we have our anchors with the arecas and the traveler as our centerpiece, now we just go in and fill some more gaps in. So a lot of the materials that you're using when you're creating a tropical design need shade. So it's important to have big frond material that's gonna create that over canopy for them. So that's why we go with palms like coconut palms or foxtail palms, because they have a great canopy that's gonna protect everything underneath it. But if you were to go with something like a royal palm, for instance, the height of it is just gonna outgrow what it's supposed to be shading. So it's just not ideal. So you gotta make sure you have that in mind while placing these palms as well. And one thing my clients were not afraid of was having a bunch of palm material in there. So we're gonna go ahead and load them up. A little bit in front of this areca. I'm trying to block this top window view of the second story building. So that's exactly what we're gonna go do. All right, so now we have almost a complete blockage of that top layer. And just for reference, this fence is also about 6 foot tall. When you're creating a tropical landscape, it's a lot of tree on tree material. So the best way to do that, to cram a bunch in a single space, is to place in zigzags. As you can see, the areca to the back, a little bit to the front is gonna have the coconut, a little bit more to the back is gonna have the travelers, to the front again the coconut, to the back the travelers, and so on. So we're gonna go place a few more trees in there so you get that tropical jungle feel. Love the triangle for that because it'll grow pretty vertical and stay just the way that it looks right here. And you can plant them in awkward areas. So it's really, really ideal. I'm gonna place one right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and place one pretty close to this as well. I like the overall vibe that it's going with. It's really starting to get there with the placements. So let's just keep stacking and filling this bad boy in. You can see there's some gaps right here, gaps in the back, so we're gonna have to go and fill all those in right now. I do love the pygmy date palms for this specific reason. They create a nice, lush, and tropical layer around that 6 foot tall mark. And they stay there for quite a long time, believe it or not. They do cap out around 12 to 14 feet, but they'll stay at this height for a long time. And so it's starting to look a little systematic, in my opinion. Tropical landscapes are more sporadic, not systematic. So there's not one thing, one after another. It's usually a little bit here, a little bit there. With the palms, you can kind of get away with it, but once you get to your smaller material, you're gonna want to make it a little bit more randomized. So now that we're starting to get a little bit smaller with our palms, I'm gonna give a little taste of the more sporadic feel. This is the triple Christmas palm. Place one over here. Now let's start going and placing all the behind the material or all the backing material to fill these bad boys in. These are the cat palms. They stay roughly around 4 to 6 feet tall. So they're great to use for those back lines and gap fillers. The cat palm fronds actually look a lot like the arecas, which is why I like to use them a lot. But they just don't outgrow the space like the crazy growth pattern arecas have. The only thing is that cat palms do need shade though, so you gotta make sure that you create the shade for them. Okay, so we're almost done. This back layer is completely filled in with as many palms as I want. Sometimes it takes a little bit of tweaking and just moving a few things just to get things sitting right. I do want to make sure that this kind of comes out a little bit. They did want some grass, so let's go ahead and fill this in. I think I'm going to go ahead and add another pygmy right here. It's going to be a nice anchor. These double foxtails will look terrific right there, actually. And now you kind of have like a little tiering effect. You got high, low, high, low, high, low, and it just so on. So it's going to look really nice visually, visually speaking. Now that all the bigger materials in, you're going to want to go add some color and some needed spaces. I really like to highlight the edges and also the centerpiece. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be our tall back layer. The Brazilian red cloaks are amazing for that. So we're going to highlight these right around this Areca palm. Because for a couple of reasons, you want to brighten up this area. But you also want to hide these lower trunks of the Areca because they're just not as pretty as you would like it to be. These are our red cone gingers. I like the contrast of them used with the Brazilian red cloaks. My centerpiece right here. Love the triple bottle palm as the centerpiece. The next thing I want to start doing is adding in the accent materials. I love the false agave and I love the Dayun for that. So let's go ahead and start placing these in some cool locations that I think they'll look good in. Next thing, let's go and add these agaves. I've had a good place in mind for them this entire time. I wanted them to be right around here. Let's double it so they look a little bit better. Go over here. And now you can see it's starting to come together. And you can start to see the bed forming before we even have it in. So I love the use of boulders. You can either go with Coquina or Tennessee, the two main ones we like to use. I'm gonna place 2 boulders right here, because I think they would look good. Go with an Imperialis bromeliad right in the middle to help brighten up the space for it. Move it over to the left slightly. Okay, it looks good there. Move a little bit smaller. Cool, cool, cool. One thing I always like to do whenever we have a boulder is to add a foxtail agave or a blue flame if you're a little bit up north. They're a little more common in that. Now that we have one boulder, let's start placing them in a couple of different areas. Okay, so now you can really start to see the shell forming. Let's go ahead and add some big leaf material right here. I love these dwarf elephant ears just for that. Now these do need a little bit of shade, so I like to add them under anything that has a low frond cover, like these pygmy date palms, these bottle palms, and these Christmas palms are going to be ideal. So that's more than likely the places that they'll end up going. I think I'm just going to bounce back between the dwarf elephant ear, the petrocrotons, and the sloppy painters. Those will be the main ones that I'm going to use to run in and out of the bed. like I mentioned earlier, you need some color. We ended up going with the petrocrotons right in the middle to help liven up that centerpiece. All right, now we get to do the finishing touches, and I always like these parts. Placing the bed. That is it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this whole journey of me tweaking and moving some things around and really just playing with it. I hope that it's able to help some of you guys in maybe a similar space, because that's kind of what this video is for. If you have a space real similar to this, you can pretty much just copy and paste and replicate this if you're in the same zones. If not, feel free to reach out to us. I'll leave all my information up on the screen and put it down in the description if you're interested. Thank you so much and take care. I'll see you next time.